Sorry about that. So closing the game stops stream. That's fantastic. I love that for me. Let's see if that actually held through. No, it did not. It looks like I restarted my stream entirely, even though it says that it's all one stream because I started it back so quick. But, well, I won't be able to show all of the cool little dialogue because I'm not doing. Well, I guess I could make this, since this is going to be going on YouTube as VODs, I could just make it a couple of 30-minute segments. That wouldn't be too terribly bad. Because there's only a few more of these, and there's a lot of endings. So I suppose I can block it. So that those were like the longest endings. Or like the ones that I dislike the most. Just to get them out of the way. 737. Hang on. Can I say something? Thank you for actually setting the clock both times you booted up the game. A lot of people don't take that step seriously. They just leave the clock set at 12 and call it a day. But you're actually taking the time to set the clock, and I really appreciate that. That's how I know you care about this experience. You're paying attention. I don't even have any way of knowing if the times you were setting are correct. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game and see the screen, set the clock to your favorite time. Go ahead, pick whatever time you want, even if it's not the correct time. You've earned it. Alright, I'll let you get back to the video game now. Which, yeah, it looks like that stopped. And you know what? I'm just not going to do it. There's a couple of fun little things that he does. One of them is the actual epilogue.
This is the story of a man.
Skip. Which I guess I'll just be doing that without all of it. But essentially, you start the game up again, you pick your favorite time, or you just pick a time. He's like, did you set the time to the correct time again? Or did you actually pick your favorite time? And I don't have enough slides, so next time we start up the game, I'll have more slides for you. And it's like a lot of random stuff, and it's pretty funny. And then it's help, and it's thank you. The next time we start it up, it's just time. What is time? We don't even know each other. I've asked you all these questions, and I think I know you pretty well, but I don't actually know you at all. Try to find me, and I can help you. And then you don't interact with them again until you trigger the epilogue conditions. So I guess we'll be skipping those. They're not strictly necessary, but it's fine. I almost forgot to turn the narrator back up.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. To go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
And from here, new content. So essentially, if you close the game and you reopen it, or you get an actual ending, new content triggers. Should I go ahead and do that? I mean, that would make sense for, like, my break retroactively, because it's like, close the game, restart it, thing, new content. New content has its own branch of stuff. Yeah, why not?
Oh, new content?
There's no harm.
Mean? New content.
New content has its own kind of thing to it. Like, it has its own, like, ending subplot stuff.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers.
What you're playing now.
The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content, that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Thank you, narrator.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure.
And I
it's
do really
just
like
the
how they
beginning of a
subvert
mesmerizing
expectations.
adventure.
And I just had to double check my audio mixing because the stream had restarted. So everything is as it should be, so that's good.
There we go. All right,
I'm loud enough to be heard over the game, but not so loud as to be ear-splitting or make you unable to hear anything happening in the game.
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable
Ultra Deluxe.
Mostly tedious. It's as if them... Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
The jump circle.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Very meaty thuds on the landing of the jumps. And I'm going to save 25 jumps.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right? Goodness. Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not
positive.
It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for
Exciting new content?
If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes.
I do like this commentary on the state of DLCs and like special editions on games. Thank you for enjoying the new content.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's trophies, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test trophy, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such
Personally attack him on Twitter. It's not even Twitter anymore, narrator. I'm sorry.
And we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
And this is the neat little thing where it's like,
Psst. Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
This is to carry on with the game, and this is the real Ultra Deluxe content. And drop into the vent. I'm going to speed through this bit a bit because it's
okay, you remember
fairly
how
straightforward.
cheap and satisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look. I call
memory
it
zone.
The memory zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
And this is like the just most
doesn't the
meta
memory zone
thing.
remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap PlayStation port? Remember back in
I do like how they
October
even
2013,
say the name of the
and over
console.
here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism.
Sorry,
10
I
out of
bopped
10
my microphone.
From Destructoid.com. James
And
Stephanie
I'm going to tone down the narrator again because it's reaching a section where it's just like, okay, it's just him reading and him stopping progression.
That aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art. Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game.
But this just like a retrospective and meta commentary on like
ever created.
how games journalists are always going to be giving glowing reviews of like even halfway decently received games. It was Skyrim. It was Persona 3.
All of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore.
And the dichotomy of comparing an original game with its sequel or something similar, and it's just like,
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com.
Uh-huh.
The Stanley Parable
Thanks.
is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games, and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game.
Create levels,
9 out of 10.
graphics.
Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. All they had to do was transport
Repeatable carpet textures.
along to the PlayStation. Boom, done. And they couldn't even do that. Couldn't resist the urge to go meddling with a beloved franchise.
Yeah.
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back to have it all over again. Wait, hang on.
These are the back rooms.
Memory zone default. What's this? What's down here? Oh no, oh god no, Stanley. It's a collection of reviews from Pressurized Gas, the extremely popular online storefront for computer games. I
Steam.
haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well.
I do like their little like hints at other like real brands and names.
To play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny with his
The
humor
beige
and
pages
dialogue
instead of the
more
yellow
irritating
pages.
than entertaining. Unfunny. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art.
Pressurized gas instead of steam.
To insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Sure, narrator guy. Sure. I'm about to actually be done with listening to him, so it'll be fun.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley, I'm not preachy, am I?
I'm not preachy.
Tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. I always, well, to be honest, I have always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with.
Alright, I'm going to turn it back up because we're about to get a hint at the epilogue.
A man named Stanley. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Yeah. What an awful memory to have to hold on to.
And after Stanley Parable, tomorrow I'll be doing Jedi's Fallen Order.
I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps
And then
the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
Friday and Saturday I'll be doing Jedi Survivor.
You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes,
I think you can even do that.
If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment. Surely it couldn't hurt.
And this would actually be a really good idea.
These negative reviews from the record, only positive reviews.
Like if they included.
That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto.
And that's the thing.
For the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
He's too focused on what other people want rather than making sure the game itself is good, and he's trying to protect a legacy.
Go ahead and give it a shot. Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes. But it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of... Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that
I would say being able to skip to the end of one of his dialogues on the ending would be pretty funny.
That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unendurable.
Okay, so let's say it was like 5 minutes, and then it doubled to 10, or like 7 minutes, doubled to 10, doubled to 14, doubled to 30. Next one would be an hour, because I know it's multiplicative.
Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer. And my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone. I've looked at it from every angle. I've checked every one of those walls 1,000 times. And there's no door, Stanley. There's no door.
Well,
there's just...
let's try the button again.
You're back.